With that said, let me get Miss Keri Roeder up here, Regional Vice President from Sacramento, renamed the organization meetings, and she said, I'm going to revamp everything, start from top to bottom. That's a leader. I'm going to commit to it, and let's go. I'm going to go at it like I got when I first started. She was there in the convention, got a chance to get a couple hugs from her, see a little bit. Some of y'all didn't get a chance to see, but I'm just so excited because I know she's come back as a fireball. Her flight got canceled. She told the pilot, you better get this plane off the ground. He said, yes, ma'am. She went there, kicked him in the shins. He put that sucker in overdrive. And man, she got Miss Caldwell. You should have seen her. She was in there. Matter of fact, I think she sat in the co-pilot seat. Man, because she had to get back for this call. She told me, I will be there. I might be, but I'm coming. I'm going to make, see, didn't go backwards. She went forwards in life. Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to Regional Vice President of Miss Keri Roeder.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited, and he is correct. So I want to take a couple minutes and share with you our afternoon yesterday. And I went, you all know that I love to teach through storytelling, right? And so as I do my storytelling today, I want you to pull out the nuggets of leadership, and we are continuing. This is session 3 or whatever you want to call it, of recruiting. And so this is all about recruiting, but it's also about the whole part of, we're not just recruiters in ACN, right? Mr. Provenzano says we are a personal development program with a compensation plan attached. And one of the reasons why every time we go to the larger events, it takes Mr. Thomas, I'm guessing, an hour to get to his seat, because the minute he steps out of his hotel room, somebody finds him, stops him, picture questions, right? Gets to the elevator, gets out or gets in. Oh my God, Mr. Thomas, picture questions, right? Gets out. Mr. Thomas, picture questions. And so by the time he gets to his seat, he's probably already engaged with 20, 30 people, and that's day one. Okay. And so you all hear me say it. So for the new people on this call this morning, congratulations and welcome. You have partnered with a phenomenal business, and more importantly, with one of the most amazing mentors you could ever have in your life in Mr. Al Thomas. And if you weren't there this weekend to witness what I witnessed, because I would be like sitting there and I would see these exchanges, every single person stops Mr. Thomas, whether they're brand new or whether a top producing senior vice president, to engage in conversation with him, asking questions, take pictures, and be able to even just 5 minutes with him changes your world. So I have a saying, and hopefully you guys are starting to remember the saying: do not take advantage of him, take him for granted, right? What you hang around with Mr. Dean Terali enough, you start to learn to do his mannerisms. Okay, that's what he does. Okay, so here's what happened. So we were in Dallas, right? And I live in Northern California. And our flight was originally at 5:20 or something like that. And we were going to stop over in Denver. Okay. And so we tootle ourselves to the airport. Now, I have a travel buddy, and some of you know who it is. I'm not going to say her name because that's part of my teaching today. But we're going to call her Susie. Okay. So my travel buddy, one of my leaders, and her name is Susie. And so she and I had the same flight home, and we share a hotel room. And so we had lunch with our leaders that were still there, like Kathy and everybody. And Debbie, we have pizza, then we tootle ourselves in the Uber, and we get in the Uber. And as soon as we get in the airport, I get a text message, delayed. I'm like, okay, right? So we get in there, and we sally up to the bar, because that's part of the story. Sorry. But we go to the bar and I'm like, cranberry mimosa, right? We've got a delay. So we start visiting, and then boop, 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 delay. I'm like, okay. I'm all, hey, Susie, check this out. We're gonna have to haul between flights. We no longer have an hour and a half for our layover. So you gotta walk fast. So all of a sudden, at the bar, this gentleman, handsome older gentleman, sits down and next to Susie. So it's the gentleman, me, Susie, and then he's at the corner. And so we're all, talking, da-da-da. And all of a sudden, delay. I'm all, right? And so all of a sudden, I'm all, so we land in Denver after our flight from Denver to California takes off. That's exciting, right? I'm giggling, right? I think it's funny. And so I start remembering when I had to spend the night. There was a leader who flew me out to Alabama to do a regional years ago, and they were having like the 2-day TSA strike, right? And I got stuck. I had to sleep in the LAX. That was fun. So I start remembering sleeping in the LAX, right? And so I'm like, I go, oh, like let me call Southwest, right? So I get Southwest on the phone, and I'm on hold forever and ever and ever. And then we start talking to the handsome older man, and so we're engaging in conversation. What do you do? He's like, well, I'm retired, semi-retired. I was a business owner. So he starts to ask questions, and Susie's asking him questions, answering questions, and I'm on hold, right? And I put my earbuds in, and it dawns on me, I'm in the Southwest terminal. I could just go up to a person, right? And so I get off my little bar stool. Okay. And it's because I'm tiny. And so I total my little self to the place, right? I'm standing in line and I'm on hold. And I think Ray, somebody came up and hugged me. And I'm so sorry because I was on the phone. I was like, "Hi," but I was trying to like that guy answer it. So the Southwest dude answers. Okay. Getting to the point here. Southwest dude answers. And I'm in line. And he's like, blah, 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 my name is, Rodney from Southwest. How can I help you? I'm like, where? I'm in Dallas at your airport and da da da. And so I explained to him what's going on. Hey, and I said, I am traveling with a companion and she has a different confirmation number, but can we please get our flights changed? I had looked and there's a direct flight now from Dallas straight to California, Sacramento, leaves at 10:15 p.m. Now, mind you, it's not even 4 o'clock in Dallas, right? I'm like 6-7 hours. But like, can we please get on that flight? So as I'm standing there, I'm still in line. I'm realizing, oh, I'm on the phone with Southwest. I can get out of line. Okay, me and my personality. Okay, so I get out of line and I see the dude, Rodney on Southwest. I start giggling and he's all, what? And I go, yeah, I was standing in line that whole time, for like 5 minutes while I was talking to you, and I realized, oh, I can lead the line. I go, and you know what everybody's doing behind me? And he goes, what? I go going, what? She got out of line. We're one person closer, right? And he starts laughing. I start laughing. So I get back to the bar and I sally back up on the bar. So it looks like this. Okay. And now I'm back on the bar like a big adult. And so the bartender says, would you like another? And I go, yes, please. I like another. And I whispered it. And Rodney on the phone goes, oh, I want one. I'm like, oh, and Southwest dude wants one too. Right. So we start just laughing and all this stuff. And Susie had stayed behind and talked to the handsome older man. I think his name was Joe. And next thing I know, Susie's telling me, hey, Joe bought your drink. And I was like, oh, that's Susie, right? So we get my flight changed. And then I said, okay, what about your friend? And so as he's fixing Susie's flight, he goes, Rodney on the phone goes, oh, well, now you're delayed till 11:19 to leave. I'm all, huh? So okay. And so I look it up and we check in and then we're going to get in at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm all, okay. And so I'm all, okay, thanks, Rod. And so I start telling Rodney on the phone how I slept in the LAX and all this stuff. And I'm giggling the entire time. I'm going to get home. I might sleep in another freaking airport, but guess what? It's a story. It's a story on my journey to SVP. So I'm totally cool with that. Okay. I mean, sort of like, good thing I'm fun size. I don't fit in the little. It's awful sleeping in an airport if you've never done it. Anyway, so I got off the phone with Rodney, and Susie says, Joe bought your drink. And so, I tears Joe, hey, thanks, Joe. And he goes, well, yeah, I figured, you know, wow, what a frustrating thing you're going through, blah, 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 blah. And he's assuming, listen to this, he's assuming that I was pissed. He was assuming that I was negative. He was assuming that I was frustrated. And I look at Joe and I start giggling. I'm like, did you not just every time Rodney and I slept in the LAX? I'm like, dude, I don't care. It is what it is. I can't change it. So why have a negative attitude towards it when having a negative attitude towards it isn't going to change the circumstances? So I told him more of the story about getting stuck in LAX and the people that were rude when we got off the plane, yelling at the workers. I'm like, it's not their fault, right? So what is your attitude? As Ms. Roxanne talked about, right? Talks about consistently. We actually talked about it in the bathroom too at the convention. But what's your attitude? What's your mindset? If you can't change the circumstances, then the only thing you can control is your attitude about it. Is your attitude about it. So when I had my little confirmation that I was arriving at like 2:20 in the morning a.m., okay, I took a picture and I sent it to Mr. Thomas. I go, hey, delay, 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 delay. I'm arriving at 2:20 in the morning, but I'm gonna be on that call no matter what. I go something like I might not look like, because remember, like, so like look professional and do my hair. Yeah, you got my hat today, right? But I was like, I'm gonna be on the call. Now I want you all to do the math. It is 9 a.m. here. And if I was landing at 2:20, by the time you get to your car, that's 30 minutes, right? I live an hour away from the airport. Well, I travel with Susie, and Susie's husband picks us up. So if it's 2:20, we'll call it 2:45. If it's an hour, that's 3:45. I live 20 minutes away from where my car was, where they were dropping off. So that's like, we'll just call it 3 a.m. 9 a.m. minus 3 a.m. is how many hours? 6, right? But then you would just walk in the door, go to sleep, right? So you walk in the door. I have my baby's babies. My daughter's in college, so I have her dog and her cat. I had to bring my luggage in, just all of that, right? So by the time I lay down, I'm only in a couple hours of sleep. I didn't care. I was fired up. I was excited, right? What is your attitude? What is your mindset again during your circumstances? Because you cannot change them. Okay. Now, in the way of recruiting, Miss Maria, will you please keep a tally for me every time I do something? Will you? Yeah? Okay, cool. Now, Mr. Dean Turali talked about this on a call, on one of these calls a while ago, and it's What's Next, I think is what the title was. So go on YouTube and watch it. It's powerful. And so Mr. Tony Kupitz, the founder of our company, talks about, we sort, we don't sell. We go through the numbers. Next, next, next. His answer to anything is great, right? Great, great, right? So, Miss Maria, when we're going to talk about recruiting. And so when we talk about recruiting and we talk about sorting, the answer to everything, ladies and gentlemen, you ready? The answer to everything I ask you, when I ask you, I go like this. I want you to all say next. And if you're somewhere where you can say it, I want you to say it nice and loud. Next, right? I want you to say it with confidence. Next. I want you to say it with an attitude of who gives up, right? Do you think you bleep me out a lot, Mr. Thomas? Anyway, so I want you to say it with the powerful attitude and confidence of who cares? Next, okay? So when I go, you all are going to say, yes, I saw that, buddy. Rick? Okay, next. And so, Miss Maria, each time I do this, I want you to keep a tally, okay? Okay, so let's set the scene. Okay, so I go to the airport by myself on Friday afternoon to fly into Dallas. And I get up in there, and I wasn't really late, but I don't like to get to the airport early. Anyway, so I get there, and guess what? My plane was delayed. Oh, that's funny. And then guess what? We didn't have a hotel room. That was funny. We'll talk about that another time. That was a funny little story. But what would you do if Susie calls you because she's already in Dallas and she's sharing a room with you, and she's like, the Omni doesn't have our reservation. But it made it. Okay, just go get a room. We'll pay for it. Okay. What's your attitude? Okay. So I get on the plane, and I sit on the aisle, and this incredible man sitting at the window, and it's a direct flight. And so start to engage in conversation with him. He and I talked the entire 3.5 hours from Sacramento into Dallas. He does a flight twice a week back and forth. He lives in Dallas now, is a law enforcement officer in California. So he and I engaged in conversation. I've never done that. I know I talk a lot, but I've actually never talked to somebody the entire flight. Okay, I did with him. And he even said, he goes, I don't talk to anybody. So we talked about energy. We talked about being attractive and attracting people. We talked about work. We talked about his wife, which is a shame because he's rather handsome. Anyway, but we talked about his adult kids and how kids make bad decisions. We just had this beautiful conversation. And at the end, he's Cal Fire. And at the end, I was telling him how my nephew, wants to go into Cal Fire. Blah, 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 blah. In the end, he offered me his phone number, his name and phone number. Okay. And I accepted it, but not with the idea that I was going to pounce on him to recruit him, right? We've talked about that. We don't pounce. Okay. He offered me to have a continued conversation, to start to develop a relationship. So yes, I am going to follow through with him about my nephew and Cal Fire. His wife is retired from law enforcement. He's going to retire, I think he said 3.5 years. So guess what? At some point in the development of our relationship, I will recruit him. Okay. I will recruit him. It wasn't a missed opportunity. It was when you listen to leadership training, when we know we can engage with them again, we don't pounce. We develop a relationship. Okay. So it wasn't a missed opportunity. It was the start of a relationship. However, I am moving on. So who said it? Buddy, let me see you. Kush, let me see you. Daryl. Next. Okay. Number one. Okay. Put him on a little agenda. Flying to Dallas, get into my Uber. Uber dude's driving right. We're having a great conversation. You know, the typical how long you lived here, blah, 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 all that. So what are you doing here? Business. So by the time he drops me off at the Omni, I had piqued him. Absolutely interested. Well, let me text you my phone number when I can, you know, we'll connect. So he gets out, he gets me my stuff. We exchange phone numbers. Great, great, great. Right. So that's number two. Right now, again, I didn't pounce on him, but I was never going to see him again. So I exchanged information. But is he my next RVP? I don't know, but I'm still moving forward because I'm building my reason why, right? So we're going to go next. Okay. Yeah. Whoever Samsung SMX218 is. Okay. Exactly. Next. Okay. So I get into the hotel because now we have a room, right? So Susie comes and gets me. We go up, we go to sleep because it was now super late. So get up the next morning and we go to convention and, you know, all that's going on. And then that evening, now I'm trying to remember the sequence of events. We go to lunch. We did go to lunch. But, you know, because all of you were there. So there's nobody to recruit. And then we finished the convention. We go to dinner. Well, we went to our roundup and then we went to dinner. And so as we are here at dinner and we're at the pizza place across the street and it's like almost 10 o'clock, right? Or whatever. And so we file in, me and our little group, right? And there's a guy and he's in line ahead of us. And so he's looking at us. I'm still dolled up, right? And so I still had even my heels on, I think. And so he's looking at us. So where's me? Like, hey, right? He's like, what are you guys doing here? Oh, business thing. Oh, where? Right across the street. So he and I start engaging in conversation. And so, and he looks just super casual, right? He's got a little bit of long hair. He's got a ball cap on. Doesn't look the part at all. Okay. But who cares? I'm not judging a book by its cover. Okay. So we start engaging in conversation back and forth. I start teasing him about what order pieces ordering, whatever. So he goes up to order and I can hear him and the person talking. And I'm like, oh, excuse me. Again, dolphin. Okay. I'm like, excuse me, is this guy getting into trouble? Do I get to kick him out? No, this guy was huge. He was like 6'3", 6'5". He was like a big dude, you know, and I'm fun size. So they all start laughing, right? So now the guy thinks it's funny. So he orders, we order. Now he and I are in conversation. And after he orders and I go to order, I go, wait, you're not leaving. You're not leaving. Give me a minute. I need to talk to you. Give me a minute. I need to order. Right. And so I order, I turn. So I start engaging in conversation. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And he looks at me. And so I, you know, he was telling me he's a rice farmer or something like that. And I said, well, I said, hey, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you if you were open to extra streams of income, even though you're clearly successful with your rice farming, even though he didn't look the part. And he looks at me and he goes, how much do you think I'm worth? I go, what? So it turned into this conversation. He goes, I don't look like I'm worth anything. He goes, how much do you think I'm worth? He goes, what do you think my net worth is? And he started using language that successful people use. And I went, I'm going to guess there's 2 commas. He goes, yeah. I go, again, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. He's like, absolutely. But then it got a little weird and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go meet up with my friends. But here's the thing. Who cares? Next. Okay. Right. Exactly. Samson. Okay. Now we go sit down, blah, blah, blah. Next day, Sunday. And we're doing the convention. And so then convention's over. We go back to the pizza place because it was really good and I wanted it again. So we go back to the pizza place, right? And so we go to the counter and this beautiful young lady was so friendly and amazing as I'm watching her take everybody's order. So I get up there and of course I go, hey, how many people have asked you? She goes, a lot. I said, okay. I go, are you going to take a look at it? She goes, yeah. I go, okay, good. I go, do, because you're amazing. You're beautiful. You know, so here I am, day 3-ish of the convention. She's already been piqued by God knows how many people because everybody was, you know, eating there. And so some people would go, oh, darn it, right? Oh, I missed this opportunity. Me, I was all, right? There you go. Next. Who cares? If that young lady gets started, I don't remember what she looks like, but if she gets started and becomes an RVP and I go, oh, were you the girl from the pizza place? I'm gonna be so excited. Would I love for her to be on my team? Absolutely. She, nope, okay, whatever. Right. Next. Okay. So then we go to the airport. And then they're on the way to the airport. Uber dude picks us up. Susie and I get in, right? So he's driving us to the airport, and he's like, "Oh, we're here for convention, yeah. Oh, God, everybody's so nice." I go, "How many people have recruited you?" He goes, "A lot." I go, "Okay, good." I go, "You gonna see it?" He goes, "Oh yeah." I go, "Okay, good." And he goes, "But I just started school, blah 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 blah. Excuse, I'm too busy. I just started school. I need 6 months to go to school." Okay, well, so here's my answer. I hope that dude never sees this video. That would be bad. Okay. So anyway, so here was my answer. I go, cool, I could do. But I got started 15 years ago. I was working 7 days a week because I own 4 businesses. So I gave him a little, I go, we teach people how to do this part-time around school work and all that. I said, so whoever gave you your card, I said, here's what I'm going to suggest to you. When you're done with school in 6 months, you call that person. You call that person and you get started. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't even know who it was, but I was edifying, not the person, I was edifying ACN. Right. So he drops us off at the airport, gives us our language. I gave him the tip and I said, again, call that person in 6 months when you're done. Okay. What was I doing? Next. Exactly. Toodle ourselves in the airport. You heard the story about Joe, right? So Joe, we got the phone, drank our drinks, Well, Joe walks away. And so, but I'm still trying to deal with now all these changes, right, in the flights and everything, but I'm giggling the whole time. And so Joe walks away and I look at Susie and I said, did you recruit him? Susie goes, no. No worries, right? So, all right, we're hungry at this point. Let's go get something to eat. So we go, we find something to eat, we sit down, and now some leadership for you. So Susie and I start to talk, and I said, can I ask why you didn't recruit Joe? She's like, oh, well, I didn't feel like it was the appropriate time or it was appropriate or something of that nature. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, so, but why? I said, Susie, he told us he was successful in business. He retired. He wanted something to do. So he went back to work part time for something to do. Oh, and by the way, he lives in Florida and he showed us his house from the view from his boat. Yeah, so I leaned over and I'm all, so do you need a companion? Right? And he goes, well, if my wife doesn't mind you coming home with me. Right? So, because you have to have fun and I mean, I kind of was serious, but you have to have fun in doing this, right? But Susie didn't peek and recruit Joe because she said it wasn't the right time. So, short version of what we had for 4 hours, because we had 4 hours for our flight, right? So I start being her mentor. I'm always her mentor, but I shift my hat from recruiting, which by the way, I was modeling for her and everybody else this entire time, right? I think there's one more that I recruited in there, but I can't remember. Anyway, regardless. So I shifted the conversation. I said, let me ask you a question. So you didn't think it was the right time. So we went through all that. And I said, let's figure out why. I said, what's going on? Like, why is it you didn't feel like a successful person? It wasn't the right time. We'll never see that man again. Who cares? I said, so lack of confidence. I said, so do you not believe in ACN? She's like, no, I do. I know ACN works. I did. Okay. I go, well, you're lacking confidence somewhere. I go, do you, and this is okay if you do. I go, do you lack confidence in me as your leader to be able to do this well for you? She's like, no, Mrs. Roeder, it's not you. I go, then, well, what else is there? Like, what else could it be? Right. So it turned into a conversation. So in fairness, unfairness, I do have 2 degrees in psychology and I was a mental health practitioner 20 something years ago before my daughter was born. So I do have some skill sets to kind of, navigate a conversation. But as we started doing this, I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm going to have to tell her to quit. Like, I'm going to have to tell her to quit. Like, don't do ACN. Like, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. I love you. And I love you being my travel buddy, but right. So as I'm listening to her, I finally said, okay, hold on a second. And I looked around, we were in the food court and I looked around and I saw this random woman walking behind me, and I go, excuse me, ma'am. And she stops and she's like, okay, weirdo. I go, oh, excuse me. I go, I'm sorry. I have a really weird question to ask you. She's like, okay. She continues to walk around me, right? And then I figured out her husband was over there. But I go, honestly, this is just really weird. I go, do you live here in Dallas? She's like, no. She's like, we live, and so she starts explaining to me what the flight is. But I go, oh yeah, we live in California. Oh, I go, so I go, I told you this is weird. I said, so what do you do? She's like, well, I'm retired. I go, what did you do? She goes, I was a psychotherapist. I go, I was a practitioner. La, la, la. My daughter's studying, so I spent some time sharing, connecting. And she's like, oh, cool. And so then I go, hey, so I go, again, this is weird. I go, I have a weird question for you. She's like, okay. I go, I know you're retired and you sounds like you travel a lot, but weird question. Are you open to an extra stream of income part-time around traveling and your retirement? She's like, no, I'm good. I go, okay. I told you it was a weird question. I go, but thank you. It was lovely talking to you. And you could tell she wanted to get away from me, right? And so she's like, yeah, next time. And her husband's like from a distance going, what is going on over there? And so I go, thank you so much. She goes, yeah, absolutely. And she walked away. And then Susie and I keep talking. And I started going another time, training for another time. The questions I was asking to get Susie to understand what was going on here. And thank God I didn't have to tell Susie to quit, because we were able to have a breakthrough on why she isn't feeling confident in herself. Okay. But that's another training topic. Well, Susie gets up to go to the bathroom. And so I took the opportunity to go over to the lady and try to undo my weirdness. Okay. So I go over there and I said, thank you so much for that. I go, my friend and I are part of a network marketing company. And, and she goes, oh, I see what you're doing. I go, yeah. I go, thank you very much for letting me do that. I was just trying to teach her and explain. She goes, yeah. I said, so I told you it was weird. She goes, yeah. She goes, but what if I had said, yes, I am looking for an extra stream of income? Also, exactly, right? Exactly. And she was like, no, I get it. That's awesome. Samsung, let me see you, whoever that is, right? Day, let me see you. Next. But she called it out. What if my answer was yes, right? So Susie sits back down and I say, check this out. I want to apologize, right? And here was her answer. What if my answer was yes? So who cares, you guys? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Next. So Maria, let's see. Miss Maria, can you unmute yourself? I just did a little thing. How many what was my count?
Six.
In like 50 hours. In 50 hours. 6. So that's more than one every 10 hours. And I was with you people for 20 of those hours. Right? I can't recruit you. You're already in. 6. And I think I missed one in my storytelling because I'm over time. But how many, that's my baby's baby, Rocky. How many of you recruited on your journey to and from, thank you, Ms. Sherian, to and from our convention? I swear I got to miss one. There is one more in there. Mr. Thomas, of course. That's why he's a top producing senior vice president. I know we didn't get to do the whole who did what. But that is my question to you. Do I need to have that conversation with you and ask you if you need to quit? Do we need to have that conversation to dive in and find out, what are you doing, ACN? What is going on that I want it. You sit in the crowd. Mr. P says, how many of you want SVP? You're like, but are you doing, this is what we talked about 2 weeks ago when my shark came out. Are you doing what it takes to have what it is that you want in ACN? Are you doing it? Like, I got the chills. Let me show you this. I bought this. It's a map of the United States. And then I bought a bunch of push pins. And guess what? The new teams that I start everywhere. It's in Canada too. Every new teams that I start, I'm putting a freaking push, whatever that's called, pin thing, right? Why? Because my kid is my reason why. Oh, speaking of recruiting, I'm going to end it with this. Last week when I was with my kiddo in Santa Barbara, we're driving along, she was driving, and out of nowhere she goes, Mama, stop. She goes, Mama, should I start doing ACN now? Was what I was doing inside. But in the car, I'm all, yeah, cool. If you want to, okay, fine. Come on. I was like going out of my dream with excitement. She goes, but I don't know what to do. Well, that's what training's for, baby girl. Right? And she goes, well, maybe I should wait to get started down when I move down to San Diego and I can meet all those people down there. Cool, babe, whatever you want to do. So when Mr. Oh, I saw him, by the way, at the airport too, mindset stuff. His flight was canceled too. When, oh my gosh, his name is skipping me. And whenever we found out it was in Orlando, I texted my daughter. I said, hey, you want to go to Orlando in September? Next ACN training's in Orlando in September. She's like, yeah, when? Or no, she said, when? So in recruiting, sometimes we're peaking people, right? We're drip, 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 drip. I've been dripping on that girl for 15 years. She's now 20. She's watched me build this. She's never watched me train and all that, but she's watched me build this. It's now potentially her time. I didn't jump on her, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm presenting opportunity. Well, we have a big training coming up in May in South Lake Tahoe. So I thought to myself, I'm going to offer to buy her a plane ticket to go from Santa Barbara up to Sacramento, and an offer for her to bring some girlfriends who are open-minded, right? Entrepreneurial, and bring them to the training, and let the event, let the environment decide if these girls or whoever she brings wants to do this with us. So recruiting, there's so many layers to recruiting. It's not just, right? You're not, what do you call it, Mr. Hunt? You're not hunting, right? You're not, gotcha, right? You're fishing with a net. If you're fishing with a pole in a small pond, you're not going to get much. If you're fishing with a net in a big ocean and you don't care the answer, next, right? If you can go through that, you're going to find the right people who the timing is right, and they're going to help you build what it is you want to build. But are you doing what it takes to have the success that it is that you want? And if you're not, darn it, start doing it. Start doing it. Another time, I will tell you what has been going on in my life for the last 12 months. But you know what? I show up. I do the work. I get the customers. I'm out recruiting. I'm out attending every event. I'm out networking. And if you knew what I've been going through for 12 months, you'd be like, wow, many of you would have used that for an excuse. And did I have my moments of melancholy and all that? Absolutely. Did I allow myself and give myself grace during all that? Absolutely. Mr. Provenzano says, God, family, ACN in that order. But we don't not do ACN when we're doing God and family. So are you doing what it takes in order for you to buy a map and fill it up with your push pins in time? Because damn it, I am the top producing senior vice president, and I'm gonna stop tapping all these senior vice presidents on the back saying, I'm now produce you, Screw it. You know what? Now I am out producing you, and I'm doing the freaking work it takes to outproduce you. So watch out, Mr. Thomas. Watch out, Patrick and Michael. Do you have this kind of passion? Are you doing what it takes? Did you pick 6 people in 50 hours and not give up what they said? Because if you aren't, then let's have a conversation like I had with Susie, and pray to God I didn't have to tell her to quit. I am so excited I didn't have to tell her to quit. Because if you're not, like Mr. P talks about it, are you a spectator or are you the worker person? I pray to God that every single one of you go from being a spectator to the worker and do what it takes. He said 72 hours, you guys. We've clicked into our 72 hours. We've clicked into our 72 hours and have already peaked people. Have you? I am running on like 0 sleep, basically. But guess what? When I get off this call, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to utilize those 72 hours that Mr. P says to do. I'll sleep in 60 hours because I've already wasted 12. Are you going to do what it takes to have what it is you want? Are you going to find somebody like Mr. Thomas and tell them, please have that conversation with me and decide if I need to quit or not and find out my reason why I shouldn't quit? We all deserve greatness. We all deserve it, but are we all willing to do the work that it takes to have the opulence in which God has designed us to have? So with that, Mr. Thomas, I went long, sorry. You guys know when I get going and I get passionate. But I love you all very much. In any capacity I could help, this is what I'm here for. And I'm looking forward to next Monday as well. I love you all.